Hello, everybody. Anthony Aniano from RotoBaller Radio and RotoBaller.com here with an early look at the Week 7 waiver wire for your 2022 fantasy football team. Full disclosure, recording on Sunday evening before the Sunday night game, before obviously the Monday night game. So some things can change over the next couple of days using Yahoo roster percentages, trying to keep it at or below 50%. Now, a little bit different today. One video, we're going to go through all the positions real quick and then end the show with my top 5 overall waiver ads of the week. Now, be mindful of the fact Week 7 is a bye week hell. The Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox, all not available to you. The Rams, Matthew Stafford, Darrell Henderson, Allen Robinson, who finally had a touchdown, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, all not available to you. The Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Irv Smith, out. Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, all on a bye. That's a tough week to overcome for some teams. You have injuries. Kenny Pickett leaves Week 6 with a concussion. Deion Jackson, the rookie, the young running back from the Colts, a quad injury, doesn't finish the game. J.K. Dobbins, the surgically repaired knee, doesn't finish the game. Randall Cobb, a high ankle. Cameron Brate, a concussion at the tight end position. And I'm sure there'll be more injuries that roll out over the next couple of days. So because of that, dealing with injury and bye week, let's take a look at the quarterback position here real quick. Marcus Mariota of the Atlanta Falcons, 14% rostered. His ability to run the ball is what is keeping him relevant. He now has 17 or more fantasy points in 5 out of 6 games this season. Finished Week 6 with 28.16 fantasy points, 6 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Throws for 2 more. Goes on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 7. Matt Ryan, 28% rostered. The Colts decided just not to run the ball much this week. They let Matt Ryan throw it 58 times, 389 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's now got 4 games of 20 or more fantasy points. All of these numbers, these total points, based on a 6-point per touchdown format for a quarterback. Okay, 38.16 points this week in Week 6. And finally, Jimmy Garoppolo of the San Francisco 49ers, 39% rostered. Good matchup against the Falcons. I liked it. He delivered a 20-point fantasy game for the second week in a row. Second week in a row with 2 touchdowns and 296 yards for Jimmy G. And what should be a shootout in Week 7, or at least 49ers will try to keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 7. Now, at the running back position, Deion Jackson would be probably the top ad of the week. However, based on his numbers, right? 12 of 42 and a touch, 10 catches on 10 targets, 79 yards, a PPR to death monster, 28.10 fantasy points. However, twofold reason. A, the quad injury. B, the returning at some point Nyheim Hines. And more importantly, the returning Jonathan Taylor has the rookie low on my waiver list this week. As great as he looked, his role will be reduced significantly. A, to his own injury, and B, returning players coming back from injury. So the number 1 running back ad for me of the week is Kenyon Drake of the Baltimore Ravens. Against the tough Giant defense, 10 carries, 119 yards, and a touchdown. Caught 1 pass for 8 yards, 19.7 fantasy points. Baltimore heads to Cleveland next week. It works out one of 2 ways. Either Kenyon Drake is the starting running back for the Ravens because J.K. Dobbins can't go, or B, it's a timeshare situation, and Kenyon Drake, let's be honest, has been outplaying J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins had 1 game with 2 touchdowns. Other than that, has not even been startable in most formats. All right, another running back to consider, Caleb Huntley of the Atlanta Falcons, 7% rostered. A true timeshare situation with Tyler Algier. Okay, and he outperformed him. Algier went 15 of 51. Caleb Huntley went 16 for 59. Didn't get into an end zone. Wasn't a massive fantasy performance, but 16 carries, tough to ignore, as Atlanta heads to Cincinnati in Week 7. Some lower-end running backs. More of some stash. If you have room at the end of your fantasy bench, keep an eye on Gus Edwards of the Baltimore Ravens, who is eligible to come off the PUP list. He himself coming off the ACL injury. He's only 15% rostered. And as the rumors continue to swirl about Christian McCaffrey being on the trade block for multiple draft picks. Next up in Carolina would be D'Onta Foreman, who's only 5% rostered. Carried the ball 5 times for 19 yards. If McCaffrey were to go, Foreman would be next in line. Chuba Hubbard is also there. Foreman had success last year when Derrick Henry was out with an injury. He would become, most likely, the feature back for the Carolina Panthers. At the wide receiver position, Wan'Dale Robinson of the New York Giants, 8% rostered. 3 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown on 4 targets, 12.7 fantasy points. Giants on the road against the Jaguars. Now, Giants are 5-1 and have legitimately done it without a wide receiver. Kadarius Toney's been out, Robinson has been out, and there's a bunch of no-name guys who have been filling in. Robinson, a first-round draft pick out of Kentucky for the Giants. A Brian Dable draft pick. Wan'Dale Robinson should emerge as a feature player going forward now that he's healthy for the Giants. Get him on your rosters. Alec Pierce of the Indianapolis Colts, 38% rostered. He's got 22 targets in his last 3 games with 12 or more fantasy points in each one of those matchups. This week finishes with 3 catches, 49 yards, and a touchdown at Tennessee in Week 7. Chase Claypool of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mitch Trubisky looked for him often when he came in for Kenny Pickett. 7 catches on 7 targets, 96 yards, and a touchdown, 23.4 fantasy points in the Steelers' upset over the Tampa Bay Bucks. On the road against Miami next week, who knows who's going to be quarterbacking that Steelers team. But Chase Claypool, in his last 2 games, has 33 fantasy points, 12 catches on 16 targets, and 146 yards. And finally, another long-term investment off the waiver wire, Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Ben Skowronek. Okay, now on the seat over his last 2 weeks, I believe it's 13 targets he has. He's become a featured more prevalently than Allen Robinson. 5 catches, 40 yards this week for the Rams. Gets a rushing touchdown, a 17-yard rushing touchdown, 16.7 fantasy points. But like D'Onta Foreman, like Gus Edwards, okay, he's a long-term move because the Rams are on a bye in Week 7. Finally, at the tight end position, Robert Tonyan's the number 1 ad there at tight end. 42% rostered. Monster game, monster targets for the Packer tight end against the Jets as he gets healthier and healthier from the ACL injury. 12 targets, 10 catches, 90 yards, 19 fantasy points. Good matchup for Green Bay against the Washington defense on Week 7. Also available at the tight end position, Mike Gesicki of the Miami Dolphins. Okay, 6 catches, 69, 2 touchdowns. As Teddy Bridgewater came in due to injury. 24.9 fantasy points. Keep in mind, Tua is supposed to return to the lineup in Week 7 for the Miami Dolphins. Hunter Henry had a nice game for the Patriots. 7 targets, 4 for 61, and a touchdown. He's got 12 targets in his last 2 games, 36% rostered. And finally, Daniel Bellinger of the New York Giants. Daniel Jones continues to look for him. Okay, Bellinger, 2 games now with 10 or more fantasy points. 5 targets, 5 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown, 14.8 fantasy points. Giants on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So to wrap this up, I've gone position by position. My overall top 5 ads of the week for Week 7. An early look. Remember, things can change a little bit as Sunday and Monday night rolls in. But my top 5 ads for the waiver wire of Week 7. Number 5, Caleb Huntley, running back, Atlanta Falcons. At number 4, Chase Claypool, wide receiver, Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 3, Alec Pierce, wide receiver, Indianapolis Colts. Number 2, Wan'Dale Robinson, the rookie wide receiver for the New York Giants. And my number 1 ad of the week for Week 7, Kenyon Drake, running back, Baltimore Ravens. Folks, don't forget to head to RotoBaller.com right now. Sign up for the premium package. Use the promotional code ACES. Take advantage of the lineup optimizer, team sync tools, and all sorts of great start sit, waiver wire, articles, videos, whatever it is you are looking for. Give me a follow on Twitter at @AnianoFantasy, and good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you next time right here on RotoBaller Radio.